All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to take a journey, but not to some far-off place. We're going inward to meet the incredible cast of characters that are living inside our own minds. And no, this isn't science fiction. This is all based on the groundbreaking work of Carl Jung. You know that feeling, right? Where one part of you is like, let's get up early and crush this workout. And another part is like, nope, we're hitting snooze and dreaming about pizza. Well, what if I told you those weren't just random thoughts? What if they're actually different personalities, all playing a role inside you? So, to make sense of this whole inner committee, we've got to start at the top. We need to meet the boss, the one running the whole show. This is the ultimate goal of our entire psychological journey. And that is the self. Think of it as the wise, calm CEO of your entire psyche. It's the totally integrated version of you, where all those competing voices, the conscious and the unconscious, finally learn to work together in harmony. It's the ultimate goal, a state of inner peace. But here's the thing. You're not just born with a fully formed self. It's something you have to build, piece by piece, over your entire life. Jung had a great name for this process, individuation. Honestly, it's kind of like building a sandcastle. It takes time, a lot of effort, and you gotta be ready for a few waves to knock it down along the way. Okay, so that's the big picture goal. But let's be real, on a day-to-day basis, we're not always operating from that super wise CEO level. We've got a couple of managers on the ground floor handling all the chaos of the outside world. And here are the two key players. First, you've got the ego. This is the captain of your ship, always at the helm, trying to navigate between what you want to do and what you should do just to keep you sailing smoothly. And then you've got the persona. Think of this as your personal PR department. It's the polished, public-facing version of you, your social media profile brought to life. Now, the persona is super useful, right? It helps us fit in, make friends, and navigate social situations. But here's the danger. If you get too attached to that mask, if you identify with it too much, you can kind of forget who you are underneath. It's a crisis of authenticity, and it happens when the public you and the real you are miles apart. All right, we've dealt with the conscious world, the parts of us we see every day. Now we're going to go deeper. We're diving into the mysterious waters of the unconscious, because this is where the really powerful stuff is hiding. Imagine this, okay? You're in line for coffee. Someone just blatantly cuts in front of you, steps on your foot, and doesn't even say sorry. For a split second, you feel this hot flash of absolute rage. You want to say something, but you don't. You just take a breath and let it go. Well, where does that rage actually go? It goes right into the shadow. The shadow is basically the messy closet in your mental house. It's where you've shoved every single part of yourself that you've been taught is bad or unacceptable. All your anger, your jealousy, your selfish thoughts, it all gets tossed in there. But here is the critical twist. The shadow isn't just some evil villain you need to lock away. The more you ignore it, the more power it gets. And hidden inside all that junk is some of your greatest untapped potential. That competitive streak you were told to hide, that could be the very thing that helps you start a successful business. Okay, let's try another one. You're at the salon thinking about a totally new look. There's a voice inside that's screaming, yes, do something wild, go for the pink highlights. But then another voice chimes in, whoa, let's not get crazy, just stick to the usual. That internal debate, that's not just you being indecisive. That's your anima and animus having a conversation. In a nutshell, these are the archetypes of the opposite gender that exist within us. For a man, the anima represents his connection to things like intuition, creativity, and sensitivity. And for a woman, the animus represents her connection to assertiveness, logic, and structure. There are internal yin and yang. So we've met the executive team and the deep cover agents, but believe me, the cast is way bigger than that. Let's do a quick lightning round and meet a few of the other major players you'll definitely recognize in your life. First up, we've got the mentor, also known as the sage. This is your inner Yoda or Dumbledore. It's that wise voice that doesn't just give you the answers, but instead it gives you just enough guidance to help you find the answers for yourself. But sometimes wisdom isn't what you need. Sometimes you need a little chaos, and that's where the trickster comes in. This is the part of you that loves to break the rules, point out how absurd things are, and just generally shake things up to push you out of your comfort zone. It keeps you from getting stuck. Next, let's talk about the heart of the whole operation, the lover.
This is the archetype that's all about connection, passion, and beauty. It's the part of you that feels things so deeply, and its greatest gift is empathy. But its shadow side, if it's not balanced, can be jealousy or being overly dramatic.
And what happens when something in your life just isn't working anymore? That's when your inner anti-hero steps onto the stage, the destroyer. This isn't about being evil, it's about having the strength to tear down what's holding you back, like a bad habit or a toxic friendship, so that something new can be built. Because after the destroyer clears the path, it creates this open space. And who steps into that space? The magician. This is the visionary part of you, the one that sees the world not just for what it is, but for what it could be. The magician takes big ideas and actually makes them happen.
But, and you probably see the pattern here, this incredible power has a dark side. In its light form, the magician is inspiring and transformative, but in its shadow, it can become manipulative and controlling. We all know that know-it-all who uses their knowledge to control people instead of helping them. That's the magician's shadow. So, we've met the CEO, the daily managers, the forces in the shadows, and this whole supporting cast. What does it all mean when you put it all together?
This right here is probably the most important takeaway. These aren't a bunch of separate people living in your head. They are all interconnected parts of you, every single one. It's like they're all citizens living and working together in the wild, wonderful, and sometimes chaotic kingdom that is your mind.
So, getting to know this inner cast is step one. But the real journey, that's about recognizing who's running the show in your life at any given moment, and then consciously choosing which voice you need to listen to. The whole goal is to get to know all of them so that your wisest self can finally take the lead. So, the question is, who's driving for you today?